Good evening, good evening, good evening. I always say that 3 times before I start. You know what day this is, and you know why you're looking at my face. Because it's GameFACE time. I'm Richard the Razor Ewing. He's Matt, none the wiser wise. And Matt, as much as I love doing this show, we can do it the same way every week. Before I start, I got to go to the questions.
Get them.
So if you're trying to figure out how to get that candle cast to make the candles for your candle selling business, you're on the wrong podcast. And if you're trying to figure out which size squash to use for that goulash you're trying to put together, once again, you're on the wrong podcast. But if you're trying to get insight into sports here in the San Francisco Bay Area, you just put your GameFACE on. And if you're trying to get sports and insight on a national level, once again, your GameFACE is put on. I'm Richard the Razor Ewing. He's Matt, none the wiser wise. Matt, what do we got?
Niners are in the playoffs, baby, and that's what I'm talking about.
That's why I had to wear my hat today.
Like they got it done against the Rams, and it I've been off and on the Jimmy train all year, but listen, that man got it done, and he got it done hurt. So you got that. We got the Warriors first place, 30-9 record, 2 games before the halfway mark of the season. And Clay comes back. We had Clay Day. So Bay Area.
Wait a minute, you talking about the Clay maker?
The Clay maker, Clay Day, Splash Brother, Clay Thompson. I mean, coming back, and I know we're gonna get into it, but my goodness, the dunk that he threw down to just really announce that he's back was absolutely disgusting. So we got all that going on. So of course, playoffs coming up, wild card weekend. There's just a lot going on. What's really popping right now, what's really going on is Bet Online. And Bet Online wants to wish everybody a happy new betting year. And as we continue our march toward the playoffs and beyond, and not to infinity and beyond, like Buzz Lightyear. I know he's got a movie coming out, but to the playoffs and beyond. And for the 49ers, the playoffs and beyond, they're going all the way. They're going to get their ring this year. Bet Online still remains the number one spot for all your sports wagering action for 2022. This new year, they have a new updated desktop and mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. All you got to do is write down this promo code I'm going to give you right now. That's BLEAV. Believe. That's the promo code. Use it. You'll get a 50% welcome bonus, and that'll get you started. They have football, basketball, hockey, boxing, UFC. I'm sure if there's some weirdo out there, they have the Jake Paul fights. They have all your favorite Vegas casino games. So I'm telling you, don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for 2022. That's betonline.ag. It's the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports. Bet online. It's where the game starts.
Okay, I got to start with the elephant in the room, and that is the guys in red. My goodness. I tell you something, that game, that was an Alka-Seltzer game. It was kind of like, I'm saying? You're sitting there, you're watching it, your Alka-Seltzer's right here, right? You got the water, you got the 2 tablets, you're about to go plop, plop, fizz, fizz. You're hoping it's a relief that it is, because I'm going to tell you something. There was about, I think, 3 minutes and 50 seconds left in the fourth quarter. It was 24-17. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, this isn't good, okay? Then I switch over to the New Orleans game, and I realize New Orleans is just slapping the Falcons around like they stole something. And I'm just like, oh, no, this is my worst nightmare. Basically what's going to happen is the Niners are going to lose. New Orleans is going to win. The Niners are not going to go to playoffs, and New Orleans is. And I'm like, oh, man, I'm hating life. And then all of a sudden, we get this huge touchdown, and now the game is tied. And I'm just like, okay, I need another Alka-Seltzer. I just can't figure out what is going to happen next.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy game to digest at all, especially after that first half. I mean, that first half, you're going in. I mean, I told my wife, I said, hey, if you want to do something with the kids later, go to the park or whatever, in the next, hour or so will probably be a good time, because I wanted to get back for the Warriors game. I was already conceding the Niners game, right? And making plans to go to the park. And thankfully for her, she didn't make those plans quick enough. And then the Niners started coming back, and I told her, you're going to have to go to the park without me. The game's close. And so, definitely, that first half, and even down the stretch, when they scored that touchdown to go up 24-17, there was a part of me that said, yeah, man, that may be it. Because I just didn't know if Jimmy was going to be able to drive down the field and put them in the position they need to win. And he did. And he proved me wrong yet again. And then he drove down the field to get a field goal in overtime to win it. So I do want to point out, we got to give a massive, massive shout out to Niners faithful, who just turned out that SoFi State.
Man, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wait a minute, are they in Levi's? What's going on?
I had a bunch of buddies that went to the game, and they had the time of their life, and I am so happy for them. But dude, it doesn't get any better than that. To go into another team's house, have the fans cheering for you as the visiting team,
right,
and then putting it on them. And getting a win, and actually winning this for the 6th time in a row, getting a win. So it was beautiful. It did. I mean, it was beautiful. The ending was beautiful. Getting there was very, very ugly.
But the interesting thing is, I think at this point, all the people who, for whatever reason, doubted Jimmy, wasn't really sure, had that question mark on him, couldn't figure out, who this guy was. Early in the season, they was calling him inconsistent. And it's like, okay, not only does Jimmy ball out, but he balls out under pressure. He was under pressure in that game, okay? 23 of 32, 316 yards. He had the 2 INTs, but when it came time to drive them down and get them to a position where they could score in crucial moments, that he gets an A+ for. Because I'm kind of beside myself, because by the time regulation is over and I'm thinking, okay, we're going to overtime. Now the question is, does Jimmy have any gas still in the tank? Because there's overtime.
I wasn't worried about Jimmy having gas in the tank. I think Debo looked like he ran out of gas in the tank, because that dude balled out.
Yeah.
And he looked gassed.
And I just have
or injured.
I'm trying to figure out, is there anything else they're going to get this guy to do? This guy does everything. He runs the football. He catches the football. He threw a touchdown. I'm just like, dude, is there anything this guy can't do?
It's crazy. I did kind of want to see him catch one in the end zone. Would have been kind of cool, for a little trifecta there. Yeah, man, that he did everything. Jennings stepped up. Ayuk had a game.
I tell you something. Juwan Jennings is becoming a huge pain for opposing defenses lately. This guy, those last couple of games, he scored at least 1 touchdown in the last 3 games. Okay, and I'll tell you something. I'm. Oh, by the way, I got to do this. I got to tip my hat to Ambry Thomas with that interception. That was okay. This is a guy quarterbacks have been using this guy the entire season. Okay, and when it came time, boy, he stepped up big. That was a huge interception. That was I don't even think Stafford knew that was coming. They were all kind of stunned. They were like, what just happened? It's like, this is a guy we're able to throw it up and he just automatically gets a PI. And it's like, no, not this time.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really poorly underthrown ball. And due in part to, and I think I said it last week, I said, listen, the only way the Niners come out of this game with a victory is if that D-line steps up and makes Stafford uncomfortable. And you know what? They absolutely did that. They did it in crucial moments in the game. And the reason why Stafford couldn't step into that throw and it got picked by Thomas was because he was under duress, and he was under duress all day. And there was hands and bodies all in his face, all over his jersey. And that's something that's exciting to see as a 49er fan, but it's something that's going to really have to continue, because going into next week's Sunday afternoon, you're going into a tough opponent in Dallas Cowboys. And
you're not going into just a tough opponent. You're going against the number one offense in the NFL right now.
Yeah, their offense is no joke. And you are going to have to not only get Dak off his spots, but then you're also going to have to contain him, because he'll take off.
Well, this is the other problem you have. The other problem you have is that, I'll tell you something, the offensive coordinator for Dallas knows they're going to go after that secondary, because they know the secondary is the key to them. Because, dude, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, these guys are catching the football like there's no tomorrow right now, okay? And I can tell you this much. If I'm the offensive coordinator for Dallas, that's exactly what I do, okay? I go right at that secondary, because there's no way that secondary can handle those receivers, okay? Those receivers are top-notch. They can catch the football. Now, as far as the run goes, we might be able to contain the run, because, Elliott's he's kind of dropping off now. He's not like he was, say, 3 seasons ago. But if I'm the offensive coordinator, I definitely go to the air, and I go right at those corners.
To me, Zeke's still a threat. I just don't. I see they haven't been using him the way I probably would like to see him use. I would like to see them use him out of the backfield more. He's not. And they really don't regardless, dude ran for 1,000 yards this year. So you gotta give it up. Like, he grinded it out, and he was injured. I think he was injured a couple games this year. So yeah, their offense is deadly potent. Mm-hmm. Now, I think that, I'd like to say I think that the Niners stand a good chance because their defense, but their DBs aren't that good at all.
Right.
Now, Josh Norman I have not seen him on the field, and it looks like he's not getting much playing time. Is he hurt
right now? I thought he got hurt.
No, he's been a healthy scratch last week. This last week. So, because I saw him on special teams, on punt returns. So, they are getting healthier in their defensive backfield. They are getting healthier at linebacker. Greenlaw was back. He looked good.
Yeah.
So some things are starting to come together for the 49ers that does look promising. What you're going to need is for Jimmy, a Jimmy performance on offense. And we've said it, man, he's inconsistent. One game he'll go on a 2-3 game where he looks amazing, and then he'll have a stinker. What you said, though, really resonates with me, is Jimmy is a big game performer. Like, he is a big time game. When it matters, it shows up. And that shows actually in his play. When he usually has a turnover or throws a pick, fumble, whatever, he usually, there was a stat that they kept pumping a couple years ago, but he usually comes back and leads them down for another touchdown. That shows the kind of guy that Jimmy Garoppolo is, as inconsistent as he may have been this whole year. And so for me, that's promising. That's exciting. I think the Niners have a great chance. I don't care that they're a 3-point underdog. I'm taking the Niners to go into Dallas, and somebody's going to stomp on their star. Terrell Owens ain't there. Niners are going to do it. They're going to stand on that star.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm trying to, because I guess the 49ers signed a veteran cornerback. His name is Buster Skrine is his name. I don't even know if they're actually going to activate him for this game. but they're gonna need some help because that offense it likes to dice up secondaries.
Listen, if you can get at Dak, if you could get pressure on Dak and you make that game super uncomfortable, you can get turnovers.
Yeah,
the turnovers are out there. So if the defense goes out and is lights out, it's going to be easy money.
Yeah, and you think about this. It's really what, and you got to tip your hat to DeMeco Ryans, what he did in the second half against the Rams. He knew that, hey, you know what? If we can rattle Stafford, then we got a chance of turning us around.
And I said that last week.
Yeah, we both did. Okay, because I know we've been watching Stafford for a long time. We know his MO is that he's fine when he's in the pocket and he's not rattled. But as soon as you rattle him, it's like all of a sudden now he can't hit his targets. He doesn't have time to throw the football. And his poise in the pocket becomes an issue. And that's kind of what happened. Now, this is the thing. Prescott, on the other hand, is a little different. Okay, I've seen Prescott where he's under pressure and he still performs. So they can't just pressure. They gotta hit Prescott. They got to sack him several different times in the game. They have to wear him down so that, in other words, when they hit him or when they sack him, they need to have something that they put on his mind. As a matter of fact, it reminds me of the defense of the Niners back when they had Fred Dean and oh man, these guys, man, they would come in, dude.
Yeah, but you can't do that these days. I mean,
what
these quarterbacks are getting.
I know, but
on a dude and you're getting 15.
Yeah, but this is the thing. You don't necessarily have to do it to that degree. But I'm just saying, you want to leave something on his mind mentally, okay, to take him out of his game, okay? So,
and that's going to be getting him off his spots. I mean, if you get a clean hit, yeah, dude, take it, dude.
Right.
Rack that fool. But I mean, these days, you can't even take a chance at trying to take a clean hit because if you hit him too good, you're getting 15 because it was too good of a legit tackle. I mean, we've seen some of these crap calls on these quarterbacks falling on top of them when it's like, what do you expect? Like a guy falling down and grabbing the quarterback's ankles is 15 because you're going at his feet. He's falling down. So yeah, in the old days, I would say, yeah, dude, Ronnie Lott days. Okay, send Ronnie Lott on a blitz and have him light the quarterback up a couple times. He'll be in his head and we'll see some more runs.
Yeah, right.
you just, hey, that's not today's football. So you're going to have to get Dak off his spots and then contain, just like a quarterback like Kyler Murray, any of these mobile quarterbacks, get them off their spots, but contain. Right. So we'll see. I'm super excited because a Cowboys 49er matchup just gives me the warm and fuzzies from the early 90s. My boy Alberto, he tries to say the Cowboys have gotten more of the Niners than the Niners have gotten the Cowboys. And that may be true, but in my mind, we always took care of business against the Cowboys in the playoffs.
Well, he's talking about the overall history. In the overall history, the Cowboys did get us more than we got them because they went like a pass. Yeah, it's the very past.
Like when dinosaurs were walking the earth type history. I'm talking about what have you done recently history.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you something. Be careful because I was one of those dinosaurs. So,
hey.
but the thing is, when you look at the overall history, he is correct because you understand Dallas they just had the doomsday defense and they had, basically NFC titles. They went 10 straight years. Okay. And it wasn't until 1981 that it changed. Okay. And even they were shocked. They had no idea that San Francisco was going to beat them. They were, I remember watching, what was it? Danny White standing on the sideline, man, with his helmet on the ground, just dejected. He had no idea that was going to happen, dude. He just, and the thing is, this is one of those games where I have to admit I'm a little fearful just because of everything that Dallas has done this year. Have you looked at their defense?
They've been.
Stephon Diggs He has 11 interceptions.
No taking away from it.
You know what I'm saying? He's got 11 interceptions, man. I'm telling you something. On both sides of the ball, they're very balanced.
Everybody I know is a Cowboy fan, and I regrettably say that. Like, a lot of my people are Cowboys fans. All right. Really? Shout out to all my people that are Cowboys fans. You know who you are.
Right.
You know what kind of losers you all are. But, like, the Cowboys have been really, really inconsistent. I mean, they lost to the Broncos, they lost to the Chiefs, they lost to the Raiders. You know, I mean, they're not. Yes, they have a great offense. They started off the year,
but their defense is not that bad either.
I don't know, man. I just, like, there's nothing. I could care less. Like, at this point, I throw everything out the window. Like, what they did in the regular season, how the Niners got in, how the Cowboys got in. I throw it out the window because
it doesn't matter right now.
It doesn't. When it comes to playoff times, there's nothing I enjoy more. And there's nothing that happens more often than the Cowboys blowing it in the playoffs, whether it's Tony Romo, who cannot hold a snap and forgets how to run and throw, whatever it is, the catch, you name it, the standing on the star, you name it. Like, all of my memories are the Cowboys just can't get it done in the playoffs. And this is going to be another week where, sorry, all my people, the Cowboys are just not going to get it done. And it just happens to be against 49ers.
Okay, you heard it right there. You heard it first on GameFACE podcast. You understand? I'm a fanboy, so I'm rooting for the Niners. I'm rooting for the Niners because it's the Niners, and I just love the team. I love everything about the franchise and everything he's been able to accomplish. We're going to switch gears because we only got a few minutes left, and we're going to talk about who else? Klay Thompson.
Clay Day.
Number 11. And he, is just a sensational night for him. The dunk, you said it earlier, I'll say it again, was filthy. Okay.
That was it. Like, that's all he needed to do for the rest of the night for me.
Yeah, he didn't need to do anything else, but he did. Okay. The 3, vintage. Okay. And now that he's back, and the return is done, all they need to do now is gel as a team, get out there, play Warriors basketball, really deal with the contenders, Utah, Phoenix. And I'll tell you something. Everybody was wondering if Steph was in a slump. Well, I guess we can stop talking about that now. Okay, because Steph.
I like, listen, maybe it was just a coincidence that on the day Klay comes back, Steph has a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily think so, because I think with Klay coming back and them having more options and knowing that when the floor is spread and Steph has the ball, yes, you still have to pay attention to him, but you cannot leave your man, because that man over there is a sharp shooter named Klay Thompson, who just came back and told you he's back when he mashed it on your faces.
Yes,
so I think, for that, I think it's just, I think it just kind of lets a little bit off of his shoulders, where now he could just go out and play, right? He doesn't have to worry about being the bulk of the offense. He doesn't have to worry about getting other people involved. I mean, yeah, he does, and he will worry about those things, but it's not like solely on him. I mean, think about it. Draymond Green kind of alleviates some of that when he's the ball handler. He could take some pressure off Steph. You have Wiggins, who can get it kind of his time. You have Poole, who he can get his time. But now you have Klay coming back. Like, it's just going to free things up. I'm going to say right now, I think Steph's going to go on a tear, because listen, like, he wasn't announced last, Steph. They announced Klay. I noticed when Steph gets announced anyway, when I was at the game, he doesn't even come out when his name's announced.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah,
always run out right behind Looney. As soon as Looney gets introduced, Steph goes right with him.
Right.
And there's something to be said to that. Like, some of that pressure, maybe it does get to you, And,
well, sure,
and having Klay back is going to be a nice thing.
Yeah, but look, you think about this. To say that the pressure doesn't get to him would be to say he's not human. Let's keep it real. Guys have always said the pressure that gets to you. Kobe admitted it. Jordan admitted it. KD admitted it. All the great players, Kawhi Leonard, they've all said that, hey, man, when the pressure's there and you have to deliver, in the back of your mind, there's a chance that it won't work. Kawhi Leonard stated there's been several times that he wanted to take the game-winning shot. It didn't go. It happens. But I mean, to your point about Clay being out there, I just think that now the Warriors are going to be more balanced on how they handle teams now, because Kerr knows that, hey, you know what? We can send out the first team, and if we don't have one of the guys who's in the first team, we can bring somebody from the second team and rotate. Because the second team, and this is the thing, this is the reason why the Warriors are winning so many games before in the past. Because see, in the NBA, you have to have a balance. The first team has to be able to play well, but the second team has to be able to play well too. Because the first team can't play all night. So, and that's
Warriors' second team they're gonna run you out of the gym. The Warriors,
yeah, they are, and
they're that much better,
right? And that's
than any other team,
right? And that's the key point. I mean, it's kind of a situation where last season, the season before, you didn't see a winning season in Golden State. Why? Because the mantra wasn't being held. What is the mantra? The mantra is strength in numbers. Well, last season and the season before that, you didn't have strength in numbers. You had a couple of guys that could do it, but it wasn't strength in numbers. Now, this year, there's strength in numbers.
And to be honest with you, the assembly of this team, to me, is more impressive than like the assembly of adding, the Hamptons 5 and I'll tell you why, because they did it in ways that nobody really expected. I didn't really expect Andre Iguodala to give us what he's given. I didn't really expect a lot out of Porter. I didn't really expect a lot out of Bielitsa. I didn't even know Gary Payton had a son, let alone hear about Gary Payton II. And these dudes can ball. Man, and all I knew about was JTA, right? And look, JTA is losing playing time because everybody else is that much better.
Right. But see, this is the other part of it. The other part of it is this, is that when you have, a GP2, okay, and you have an Otto Porter Jr., what they call it now, was it automatic? That's what they call it. Okay. And you have, that's kind of how they were winning before. See, when they had Iguodala, when they had
Livingston
coming off the bench, they had and this is the thing. The reason why this is going to work so well, it might even be better than they had a couple seasons ago, because all of these guys, with the exception, I think, of Otto Porter Jr., all these guys are fresh in. You know what I'm saying? They don't have, GP2 doesn't have 10 years underneath his belt, okay? These guys are all new. They're young, okay? And it's kind of like what they did when they brought in Steph, and they brought in Clay, and they brought in Draymond. Similar situation. These are core guys that they have developed or they brought in who were really journeyman guys, okay? And now all of a sudden they're making it work. I tell you something, this could last another 3 to 4 seasons.
Boy, here's the scary thing. James Wiseman hasn't even got back into the rotation yet. You know what I mean? So that's another piece that is going to develop in 2 years. Who knows, and then you rebuild around him and you have a few pieces. You still got Wiggs, whatever you got, what Clay or Steph could be retired by then. I see Clay playing longer. So you still got, it's exciting. It really, really is. But I'm just enjoying being present. The future is exciting. I'm enjoying being present because we're watching some of the greatest basketball of my lifetime, minus the Jordan, watching Jordan, you know, this is another generation of greatness. Like I got to watch Jordan and that era and greatness, and Kobe come up, and AI, and like all the greats. And now like I'm getting to enjoy another set of greats and do it. And it's just happens to be for my team. So it makes it even more enjoyable.
I think that's the very special part of it, is that it's here in the Bay locally. Yeah. See, that's what really makes it special.
Because how many Bulls fans did the Bulls get just because of Jordan? I had Bulls jerseys. I had a Bulls hat.
Right.
Like, and I wasn't a Bulls fan. I'm a Jordan fan.
Right.
You know, and like now people are gonna be like, I'm a Steph fan. You know, like they got all the Steph stuff, and like rock. You see it, dude. The Warrior stuff is everywhere. People be rocking it everywhere, outside the Bay Area, in the Bay Area, wherever you at. I see it.
Yeah, I see it too. Okay, so we're gonna have to call it. Okay, because we're running out of time. But those watching, you can tune in next week. We'll have another episode. You're watching GameFACE, Bay Area Sports Magnified. I'm Richard the Razor Ewing. He's Matt, none the wise and wise. Tune in next week, and we'll have another great show for you. Just remember, where's my? I tell you something, man. I can't maneuver this thing anymore. This is funny. Okay. So anyway, GameFACE, Bay Area Sports Magnified.
We out
Here on the Bleed Talent Network. Have a good week, folks.